back to another video here at Built by Miller. So as you can see, I think the last video I posted, I was working on something on the car, boom, all of a sudden it's done. So I apologize. I did not record every single step of the way, but as you can see, I've got the car back together, and full transparency, I've actually started it. I'll throw a clip of the car starting, first start right here. And then I also did like 20 or 30 miles on it. So the car runs, it drives. There are a few things still missing that I need to do. And then I also kind of royally screwed something up. So I want to show you that, the thing that I messed up. So getting to all the nitty gritty things that I need to do. Power steering pulley. So I was driving this car without a power steering pulley. I just had the wrong one. And so I ended up having to order one. It just got here, so that was kind of difficult. Other thing is there's a weird noise coming from kind of the front area, and I'll throw a video of that here. I'm basically trying to figure out where that noise is coming from. I think I have an idea of what it probably is. Probably has something to do with the thing that I screwed up, but I'll show you what that is. Also, I need to adjust the clutch pedal. So anytime you change your pressure plate from the kind of standard non-turbo to the turbo one, you got to adjust the clutch pedal. I'm going to be using the instructions from, I think it's like Specialty Z is what it's called. He gives you a pretty good walkthrough on his website how to do it. Essentially what you're doing is you are taking the switches back out as far as you can, so that way you can adjust as much of the rod length to get like a full kick whenever you push in the clutch. So I'm going to be doing that. I'm also going to adjust the blow-off valve. So it's really great to hear this car with the blow-off valves, but I did notice that since we're running two blow-off valves and they're adjustable, I think one might be a little on the hard side and another one's on the soft side, so I'm gonna adjust them to where they both sound the same, because they kind of sounded different, which was kind of weird. And then I'm going to check my throttle position sensor and make sure that I have it all good to go. Make sure that it is turned on properly. When I say turn on properly, I mean like the hard idle switch portion of it. I kind of did it by following the instructions I had, but the multimeters that I had were kind of just, they didn't work very good and they were old. So ordered a new multimeter. On top of that, I ordered the Nissan data scan tool, and I ordered the I think it's called Nissan Consult or something like that. So basically I could plug into the OBD sensor and then actually see real time the throttle opening and closing and the switch and all that good stuff. So I'm gonna fix that, and along with some of these pipes and stuff right here. Like, I got these pretty good. However, this one I feel like has kind of a kink in it, so I'm going to try to adjust that kink and try to fix that a little bit, as well as do a leak test. So I did do a leak test before I started it. However, I want to do a leak test independent of the motor. So like what I mean by that is I want to leak test just the intercooling system without everything past the throttle bodies, and then I want to do the throttle bodies. So I got 2.5 inch caps that I can throw on there, so that way I can test those two systems independently, because yeah, it was pretty overwhelming, because when I tested it there was air coming out of the old dipstick, out of the just random places, and so I want to be able to narrow it down and kind of figure out where it's going. Plus drop a comment on what you think, but I don't think a vacuum leak, I think there needs to be some kind of vent in the manifold. So I don't think that necessarily is as important as making sure you don't have any vacuum leaks in your actual intercooler piping and all the stuff that runs through the turbo. So I know I said a lot of stuff, but here we go. I'm going to show you what I screwed up, so hopefully you don't screw it up like I did. And I think the main reason that I screwed it up was just lack of inexperience with these motors, and the motor that I got was missing these pieces. So when I put it back together, I literally was just trying to look at photos online, and I followed directions the best that I could, but I screwed up. So let me show you what I did wrong. time lapse, pulled the radiator out, pulled everything out that I needed to in order to get to the timing belt, and I'll show you what I screwed up. Alright, now keep in mind this motor, when I got it, did not come with a main pulley, and it did not come with this washer right here. Okay, so this washer, as you can see, it has like a curve on it. And when I put it in the first time, I had it backwards. I had it like this. And this is the wrong way. You do not want to have it this way. You want to have it this way. Okay, so by me having it the other way, basically what happened was the edge of this kind of rubbed into the very end of the belt, and it shaved off like a millimeter or two off the edge of this belt. You can see there's like crap everywhere, all this like dust stuff, whatever this stuff is. It's all over the place, all inside. So now I've got to clean it all up. So got a new belt on order. The new belt should be here, I think, in a couple days. And so in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean all this stuff off and then put the new belt on. I'm pretty sure that's going to solve my weird noise issue. What I may do is just run the motor once I get it all put together without an actual alternator belt on there, so I could see if it's the noise is coming from you know, the main pulley, and then throw the belt on. If the noise comes back, then I'll know it's from either the water pump or the starter, which are both, I'm sorry, not the starter, alternator, which are both brand new, so I'm pretty sure that's not it. I think that weird noise was just coming from that belt rubbing on that washer. So don't make the same mistake I did. Make sure you put that washer on the right way. I'm glad I caught it, and it was kind of painful to spend the time to take it apart again, you know, so, you know, just don't make the same mistake as I did. Quick, I want to show you something with these silicone formed accordion pipes. So these are the accordion pipe replacements from Z1. On the passenger side, you're going to have a nipple, and then there's a piece that goes into this crate case vent system, or whatever the heck that is. It's this thing right here, right? So when I did a leak down test, this thing was leaking. This was leaking, and this was leaking. This was leaking really, really bad. I did put some RTV in there to try to help seal it, and that didn't work because it was still leaking. So what I'm gonna do this go around is, and also I'm not sure if you saw it in the earlier videos, but this kind of was like pushing this thing right here that was sticking out, was in the way of the hose on top of it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take some JB Weld, and I'm gonna take a file. I'm gonna run it through there to kind of rough the surface up a little bit here, same thing here, and then I'm gonna take some JB Weld. I'm gonna try not to put too much in because you don't want it to sink like past this, and I'm gonna seal this down in there with JB Weld, and then I'm gonna take probably like a pretty big screw or nut or something, and do the same thing right here. Shove it down in there with JB Weld to help seal that up, because yeah, it's the way it comes from Z1, it is not sealing against boost. So read online somewhere that will work, so I'm going to try that with this. Another thing too that I wanted to show you real quick was, in order to get this Koyo rad to work, I did have to trim the edges on this side, and this was because it just simply would not slide into the spot between the intercooler piping. I think the original piece came out like this far, and it was kind of curved, so I basically cut it this way, tried to shove it down there, it didn't work, so then I cut these off, and then that slid right in there. And I'm talking about, like, you know, sliding between here and here. So just keep in mind, if you're running that radiator, that's probably what you're gonna have to do to make it fit. Wasn't easy, was way harder than I thought it was gonna be.